health versus wealth. Let's start the show. Hello one and all, welcome to Step Ahead with Ernie Rivera. I am your host, Ernie Rivera, and today we are going to be talking about health versus wealth, or how to be a champion. That is right, that is what we are talking about today. So, how to be a champion, what does that mean? Let's go over that first if we can. So, to be a champion is to fight for something, to fight for a cause, to fight for a movement, to fight for oneself, to fight for our agency, to fight for our health, to fight for our family and our friends and everything that we have. That is what it is to be a champion. And I feel like we all have it inside us. You know, sometimes we're just so taxed, and the world pushes down on us so much. You know, it's taxing our body. It's taxing us. It's bringing us to the limits, to the edge. And what do we do with that? That is where our health comes in. It's our health is taking a toll. How often do people trade their health for wealth? You know, they work around the clock. They burn themselves up. What do they say? You're burning the candle at both ends. You're just like, and by the end, there's nothing left, and you're lucky if you can do anything about it afterwards. Well, I'm not here to be Debbie Downer, so let's talk about how to combat that right now if we can. So here's the thing. You are a champion. Let's not forget that, right? You are fighting in a battle that no one else knows about. You know about it. You're fighting that war, and we're talking about how to be a champion. So let's look at children if we can, right? How do we treat children? Do we push them to every single one of their physical limits? Do we let them go days without sleep? Do we work them around the clock? Not typically, or that's not what we're supposed to be doing, especially not if we want any good results out of it. So how should we treat a child? And the answer is to feed them properly, make sure they're getting proper nutrition, to make sure that they get proper rest, because that is going to help them grow. It's going to help their minds develop. And that's what we want. We're feeding them, we're resting them, we're challenging them, but we're not pushing them through any of their limits. Not yet. And that's the thing. We're challenging them. And what does that sound like? What does that sound like? If you look at a prize athlete, what are we going to do with a prize athlete? You know. We're not going to work them literally 24 hours a day. We're not going to let them go days without sleep. We're going to make sure they're well fed. We're going to make sure that they're well rested. And we're going to make sure that they are challenged constantly, frequently, but not broken down. I can tell you something about myself, that I have lifted more weight than I ever thought I could. I have gone days without sleep. I have done many things in the name of work, in the name of progress. And what happens to me after that? Usually something bad. Usually torn muscles. Usually problems thinking, problems concentrating, and dangerous situations. Can you imagine being on the road when you're just like completely out of it because you've been working so hard? They have a term for it in Japan, and I forget what the term is, but basically when you work yourself to death, and it's cultural, it's different for everyone, but that's not ideal, you know. We should treat ourselves like an athlete, like a child, even like, imagine a racehorse, you know. They're fed great food. They're not overfed. They're not underfed. They're fed great food. They're fed the right food. They're fed they're fed proper nutrition. They're rested. Racehorses are rested, you know. You can't some animals we overwork, and that's horrible and that's terrible. But like a racehorse, you know, we're gonna make sure that it's fed, it's rested, it's challenged, but it's not just running until it breaks a leg. It's going to run until the work is done, and then it's going to get home, it's going to sleep, and it's going to be ready for the next day. And that is what we do. That is what we do as champions. You know, we want to make sure that we're fed, we're rested, we're taking our vitamins and our minerals and all our good stuff, and we want to make sure that we're challenged. We're frequently reading. We're frequently listening to these videos telling us how to get ahead, teaching us the new tricks for investing, teaching us how to run our businesses. We're constantly watching videos, we're constantly listening to audiobooks, we're constantly reading. We're exercising so that we can have energy for each day. We're taking care of our exercise, and that is going to be invaluable to us. And real quick, if I could, I'm just going to ask you, if I'm adding anything to your day, if I'm talking to you today, I'm going to ask you if you can click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help me defeat that evil YouTube algorithm. Let's go. Let's do this. Now, if we can, let's break it down with a little man I like to call Batman. That is correct. Now, Batman, he, oh my God, he runs a multi-billion-dollar corporation, a conglomerate, comprised of many different companies in the Wayne Enterprise circle. He is constantly pushing his body to the limit. He can lift and run and swim and do this and do that like any Olympian in any field, but he can do them all. And how is he doing this? How is he keeping himself strong? How is he making sure that he can live to fight the next day? They break it down in a book called How to Be Batman. I believe that's what it's called. It's a really great read where a guy who is very into the human body and how it functions talks about Bruce Wayne and what he would need to do. Now, here's a guy who's performing peak capacity. You have to imagine that he's 6'2", and like 250 pounds. I don't know, somewhere in that range. So he's a big guy, and what is he doing to keep himself ready? Well, they talk about Batman and what he does, his training regimen. And when he's in the training mode, that is when he was coming up, he was spending almost all day, every day training. But things had to change when he was ready to do the work. When he was ready to do the work, he had to take better care of himself. He reduced his training each day because he needed to be able to recover after fights. He's eating about 4,000 calories a day, and that's probably like, chicken, broccoli, brown rice, the good stuff, the stuff that's nourishing the body. He is getting enough rest. He is doing special meditative rest method, where basically he can go straight into REM sleep. This is indeed possible, and I would research it if you'd like. It's very fascinating stuff. But what else is he doing? Like I said, he's eating right. He's well rested. He's allowing himself time to recover. He's taking proper supplements. And you better believe Batman's taking all the supplements, because he needs to be able to fight every single day at the highest of levels. And what else is he doing? He's meditating. He's making sure that the negative thoughts are out of his system, because that plays an impact on health. And if it plays an impact on health, it means we aren't strong to fight the next day. It means that we cannot capitalize on the next play. We can't be up at 6 a.m. to be ready to trade the next day if we're sick, if we got a cold. So what do? We got to take those supplements. We got to be well rested, well fed. We got to make sure that we're reading every single day. We got to make sure that we're listening to these audiobooks every single day. We got to make sure that the negativity has left us, because that plays an impact on health, and that is something that we cannot afford to do. Remember, you are a champion. Champions take care of themselves. Why would you take care of yourself any worse or any less than you would take care of a racehorse or a stranger or anything? If a stranger showed up at your door and you were kind enough to help them, you would probably give them the best kind of care that you don't typically reserve for yourself, and that is unfortunate. Remember, you're valuable. You have inner value, and you need to be ready, because there are those in this world who depend on you, and we got to be ready for that. And don't be afraid, again, to talk to people, to let the feelings out in a calm, productive manner. And it doesn't have to be calm, but you know what I mean, in a productive manner. Let the emotions out. Talk to professionals if you need to. Do whatever you need to do. Make sure your mind's in a good place, make sure your body's in a good place, and make sure your spirit's in a good place, because that keeps us strong and that keeps us ready. And what are we doing with that? We are making that moolah each day. We are running the race each day. We are fighting each day for ourselves and for those around us. So I thank you once again, friends and family, one and all. I hope that you'll click like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help me defeat that evil YouTube algorithm. It's really helped me build my channel. It means the world to me. So I appreciate it. Thanks for being with me today. It's meant the world to me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow. Peace.